Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 15 of My Story, My Strength 365-day challenge. Again, we all know my challenge is it's not just a series; it's my lifeline. I started this journey for myself, for my own healing, to reclaim a voice that trauma had tried to silence. But I want to share it publicly for anyone who's ever felt trapped, broken, or erased. Healing is not easy at all, and it's never, ever, ever going to be easy. But every scar holds power. If you're listening, I want you to know that your pain is real, your story matters, and healing is possible. It is possible because you deserve it. You do. You deserve healing. You've gone through the worst, and you deserved healing. Today's story involves this is the trigger warning, you guys. So today's story involves sexual coercion, emotional manipulation, trafficking related trauma, and physical abuse. Please listen with care. If this topic is too much, it's okay. It's okay to pause. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to stop because your safety and emotional well being comes first. Okay? So please make sure you take care of yourself because today I'm going to talk about something. It terrified me. It really did. I'd already gone through being gang raped once, and I was put in that position again, and I had to really process sharing this story because it kind of put me back in that moment. I haven't thought about this for a while. I try to keep that out of my head, mostly because of the pain that is attached to this memory. But again, like I said earlier, healing is messy, and this is one of the messiest parts of my story. I really hate revisiting this because of what it has done to me emotionally, but transparency is part of my freedom. So I'm going to speak as openly as I can. Now, at the time, I was only 16 years old, and I had been with my ex in a very abusive relationship for only a few months. Like, the abuse started almost immediately. I tried to escape. I tried to leave him at that time by going home. But he went to my mom's house. Like, he showed up at my mom's house. I don't even know where. Oh, I know now how he knew where I lived. I was friends with his sister, but his youngest sister. But at the time, I didn't know how he knew where I lived. And my mom thought he was only 17 because he did look really young at the time, and he lied to her face, and he kind of let me know using nonverbal cues that I better go along with what he was saying. So I was scared, and I lied and told her he was 17. So when I say I was running from him, I was running from him, and I knew it wasn't going to be easy. But I meant that from my soul. I ran from that man from the time he trapped me to the time I finally got away. So being with him, I became homeless with him. We were homeless together. We were bouncing from hotel to hotel, staying with people here and there, living on the streets. And sometimes we just walk around all night with nowhere to go. And one night when we were walking around, we saw someone that he knew. I didn't know the guy. They kind of walked off, and they were kind of whispering and looking at me over at me at the cut a corner of their eyes, and they whispered, and I kind of felt in my gut that something wasn't right with that situation. I'm like, I'm not comfortable. So we ended up walking with the guy to a hotel room with a group of other guys, and there were about 5 or 6 guys. I don't really know. I just kind of sat down there in the hotel room. There was a table. You guys been in hotel rooms? They have the table next to the window with 2 chairs. Well, I sat in one of the chairs that was closest to the door, and I kind of just looked out of the crack in the window, trying to, I was trying to be quiet. I was trying to be invisible and hope that if I didn't say or do anything, then I would just be left alone. You know. My ex came up to me and was like, "Hey, I gotta leave. I'm gonna run out real quick or run something, run an errand or whatever he said, and I'll be right back." And I asked, I'm like, "Well, why can't I just go with you?" But he snapped at me. He was like, "You're gonna sit your ass down, and you better not leave because if you do, I swear to God, it's gonna be a problem." And I knew that meant he was gonna try to fight me or whatever. So, he threatened me if I didn't stay. So I sat down. I sat down. I was really scared. I was confused, and I was alone. And I was just sitting there looking out the window. And about 10 minutes later, the guy that we walked to the room with, he sat down in the chair across from me. And he started talking to me like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" And I was just like, "Fine." Giving one worded, I don't want him to think that I'm trying to do anything responses. Um, then he started asking me if I wanted to, "Hey, you trying to get down with us up in here, with him and his friends?" And I shook my head like, "No." But tears started coming to my eyes because I was just like, oh my God, this is finna happen to me again because I'd already been gang raped. And that's when they told me that my boyfriend told him that I'd be down to do whatever with him and his friends. And that he was going to go home to check in with his girlfriend. And when while he was gone, that we could do whatever. That I was down with it, and that he'll be back soon. And I'm like, girlfriend, home. I didn't understand what was going on because after months of being homeless with this man, I didn't even know he had a home. I met this man's family. I met his mom and another sister that I hadn't known, thinking that I was, his girlfriend. And I kind of felt sick. I'm just like, if you got a girlfriend, then why are you following me? Why are you harassing me? Why are you stalking me? Why did you come to my mom's house? If you have a girlfriend, why are you trying to trap me? I told this guy that I was going to leave because I'm only 16 years old and I'm not trying to do this. And that I didn't agree to any of this. I didn't agree to any of this. I never said it was okay. And that's when he told me that he had already paid. Like, hey, I paid this dude because he told me that you were down with this. And, he basically made it seem like I was a prostitute and that he sold my services to these guys in this room. And that someone was either going to pay him, either you're going to give me my money back or you're going to do what I paid for. So I stood up. I'm ready to fight. Like, you know what, y'all gonna have to kill me. I'm ready to die because I'm never gonna allow myself to be gang raped like that again. That was not, an experience that I ever want to relive. And I didn't know what would happen next, but I was ready. I was ready to fight or die. If you're gonna take something from me, you're gonna take it. I'm not gonna give it. And then someone called out my name, and I'm looking, and it was a guy that I grew up with, and he asked me like, "What are you doing here?" And I told him the truth. I'm messing with this dude that told me to come over here. And, now I'm finding out that he done told these people that I'm about to let y'all all run a train on me and that you guys pay for my stuff, And he's like, I didn't pay for nothing. I just came over here with my cousin. I didn't know what was going on. And he turned around and he told them like, hey, I know her. And she, she's not the one to be messed with. She got people that come up in here and act a fool if something happened to her. Y'all better leave her alone. At the time, I was still technically in a gang. I did have a lot of respect for the members in that gang, and they were not okay with who I was seeing. So I stayed away from my home, and they didn't even know what happened to me. So the fact that he had me in that situation, and I have a big family too, and he knew my family as well. It's like, y'all don't want to do this. And if this dude got her in a situation, like, he gonna get it too. So just like that, everything changed. Like, all right, man, no problem, but we're gonna have to give me my money back. I hugged my friend and I left. I walked off. I'm like, I'm going home. But my ex, he ended up coming back to the room, I guess, to look for me, and they told him what happened. He had to give the money back. And he found me, he called up to me, and he started fighting me. He threw a brick at my head. And he started fighting me, cussing me out, telling me I fucked up, calling me a bitch. And I'm fighting him back, trying to tell him, like, you tried to sell me. You have a girlfriend. Like, you need to go home and be with your girlfriend and let me go home. Let me go home. I don't want to do this with you anymore. Just leave me alone. And he yelled at me. He told me I cost him $800 of money that he said that he could have gotten us off the street with. But I don't believe he was going to get us alone. I said, just go home to your girlfriend. Please, just leave me alone. Like, I was fine. I was happy when I found out he had a girlfriend because that meant I was free. But he said, no, you're my girlfriend. You belong to me. I am your girl. Was his property. And he said he never set me free. That night, I truly feared what would happen to me. And if I hadn't known someone in that room, I don't know if I'd be here to tell this story. And that's the honest to God truth. So the feelings that I did identified with, that night I felt fractured. That night fractured something deep inside of me. I began to believe that my body didn't belong to me anymore, that I was nothing more than a bargaining chip. I felt used, disposable. I felt unworthy of love or safety. I internalized the lie that I was only valuable if I kept people calm, kept them fed, kept them satisfied. And even worse, I blamed myself for trusting him, not for fighting harder and not for seeing the signs, not understanding that I was only 16. And that guilt almost destroyed me. But guilt has no place in the heart of someone who fought to survive what was meant to destroy her. So that guilt and shame was not meant for me. So I have a reflection question for you. Have you ever been blamed, or have you ever blamed yourself for something that someone else did to harm you? Where you in your where you where in your life are you still carrying shame that doesn't belong to you? Where in your life are you still carrying shame that doesn't belong to you? So of course, I had negative thoughts that went along with that. I believed that my value was tied to what others could get from me. And I felt that for years. When I say years, I mean like not even within the last year. I felt like that. I felt like my value was tied to what people could get from me. I believed that I was damaged goods, that I was too broken to be loved, too tainted to be protected, even though that night someone came to my rescue, you know. So here's a reframing tool. You could write a letter to your younger self from the perspective of the protector that you never had. So if it was your child, someone that you love that you would protect, write a letter to yourself as if that you were that child or that person that you would protect. And that letter validates your pain. Defend yourself. Speak up for yourself in the way that no one did. Then read it out loud as if you're sitting next to yourself, because you still are. You're still there. So an affirmation that I am still working on, and if you need to work on this, you can work on this too, is my story does not make me dirty. It makes me divine. Every breath I take is proof that I am more powerful than what I survive. You hear me? That I'm going to say that again. My story does not make me dirty. It makes me divine. And every breath I take is proof that I am more powerful than what I survived. That's beautiful. And that's something that I need to hear every single day. So today we're using the containment visualization technique. It's a powerful tool for uh, processing your trauma, and is used in somatic therapy. So close your eyes and imagine a lockbox. A lockbox. Now take the memory that's flooding you, this one or any other ones, like mine would be with this memory, and mentally put it in that box. Got it in the box, okay? Now lock it. Lock the box. Now picture the box moving far away onto a shelf, a boat, into the clouds, wherever you feel safe to store it, but store it there. Say to yourself, this memory is real, but I do not have to carry it right now. This isn't about denial. It's about creating space between you and that memory so you can breathe. You get to choose when or if you want to revisit it, because your trauma doesn't get to hijack your present time, your present life. So you guys ready for your empowerment challenge? Okay. So your 1 minute empowerment challenge is to text someone you trust and let them know, say, I'm still here and I'm fighting for myself every day. And that's it. That's it. I'm still here and I'm fighting for myself every day. It might sound small, but naming your survival out loud is an act of rebellion. And if there's no one person that you could trust yet, write it down. Pin it somewhere where you'll see it every morning. Because surviving in silence is still surviving. It's still surviving. But thriving means being witnessed. So we're not just trying to survive. We're trying to thrive. So I'm going to do my survivor spotlight, which I should change it to my thriver spotlight, right? Today, I want to shine a light on someone whose strength shattered silence. Her name is Miss Barbara Amaya. Barbara was 12 years old the first time the world left her behind. Fleeing from an abusive home, she found herself alone on the streets of Washington, D.C., where predators were out there waiting, which I know I'm far too familiar with those predators out in the street. They didn't see a child, and they never do. They did not see a child in pain. They saw an opportunity. Barbara was quickly coerced and trafficked by a violent pimp, and soon found herself in New York City, forced, not willing, forced into sexual survival sex, forced into survival sex work under constant threat. There it is. She was forced into trafficking. She was threatened, and she was basically afraid for her life. She was surviving. So for over the next decade, she was raped, continuously raped, beaten, drugged, and sold every single day. She was arrested dozens of times while her traffickers roamed free. The police never asked her who hurt her. The system never called her a child. They called her a criminal. No one cared that she had been kidnapped. No one cared that she couldn't run. No one cared. No one cared that she lived in terror. She survived in silence, but she didn't stay silent forever. Eventually escaping the life, Barbara didn't just rebuild her life. She rewrote the narrative of what it means to survive and thrive. She went back to school. She became a journalist, then an author, then a national speaker. Her memoir, Nobody's Girl Doesn't Sugarcoat the Horror, it dares to name it. Today, Barbara trains law enforcement on how to recognize and respond to trafficking survivors, and she fights for laws that protect children instead of criminalizing them. Barbara Amaya is not here to comfort you. She is not. She's here to confront the truth. That's our system. Sorry, it's hot. Okay, this is the truth that she confronts. She confronts the truth that our system still locks up victims, that our society still blames girls for what grown men do to them, and that survival doesn't always look clean, pretty, or safe, but it's still survival. Barbara turned her pain into power, her silence into a siren. She's not just a survivor, she's a thriver. She's a truth teller. She's a truth teller with fire under her lungs and justice in her hands. Word this in a way that makes it make sense to you. Sorry, my thing froze on me. So that you can understand that she is someone who does not want to sugarcoat and make things comfortable for people who are sitting in their cozy homes judging girls who are in her situation like mine. So, Miss Barbara, thank you so much for breaking through the silence, for standing tall in your truth, and for refusing to let the system write your ending. You didn't just survive, you're leading the way. And for that, I and we honor you. Okay, so if this message or this story has moved you, please do not keep it to yourself. Watch the full episode. Watch this entire episode or any of my other episodes. Leave a comment leave a comment that your voice matters. Share with someone who needs to know that they're not alone. And hit that subscribe button on my channel, Empowered Voices Finding Strength in Survivors, so that you can keep up to date with all of the content that's meant to help you thrive. I need water. These talks are not easy. Sometimes I get a little hot. You hear my fan in the background. It's hot. So you guys should know how I'm going to end this, because I'm going to end it the same every day. Your story doesn't end in pain. Anybody who's with me, what does it begin with? It begins in power. So I will see you tomorrow for day 16. But before we end, I would like to say thank you all for tuning in, who's been tuning in. I've been doing this for 2 weeks now. I started June 1st, which is 2 Sundays ago, and today is the 15th. And I am still standing strong. This is not easy. You guys, I got to get up and relive a lot of my deepest parts of the deepest, most traumatic parts of my life every day. But I want you guys to see my healing out loud. I want you to hear my voice, and I want you to understand that those stories are not silencing me. And I am going to have to do some, grounding after this episode, because again, that is an episode that reminded me of a very scary night, because he did almost beat me to death that night, you guys. So again, my story does not end in pain. It begins in power, because I just took that power back. I will see you again tomorrow for day 16. I love you all. Stay strong.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get